Right, welcome along. This is ShrimpNet. We're recording this. If we're interrupted, it's because we're recording this on Halloween. So if you're listening to it, think of us if my doorbell goes, Tom's doorbell goes, or Joel's doorbell goes. I'm hoping somebody else will answer it because I'm not going to get it. But there you go. So as you may have gathered, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see our guest tonight alongside myself and Joel is midfielder Tom White. Tom, thanks for doing this. It's a great pleasure to have you on.
No, you're very welcome. Happy to be doing it.
Yep. I know Jamie Stott's told you all the bad things about us, so that's pretty good. They're
No,
all true.
I
They're
don't
all
listen to
true.
words. I don't listen to a word he says. Yeah.
So we start where we mean to go on. We always talk about the last game as the first thing that we do mention, and from that point of view, I thought we competed pretty. Not trying to make a silk purse out of ourselves here. Obviously, we all know it's not been a great season, but considering Chesterfield, their position in the league, the money they're spending, I thought we competed pretty well for 70 minutes last Saturday. But obviously, the subs made a bit of a difference in the end. But I thought we did pretty well.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think like you've just touched on there, I know budget and money isn't everything in football, but they're expected to do really well this year. And from what I've seen, they're probably one of the better teams we've played this year. Certainly individual wise, when they're bringing the five subs on that they did. But
Yeah,
yeah, we competed really well for the first 70 minutes. It was just a shame about the following 20, but it does show. I think on our day when we're at it, when we're really going for teams, especially at home, we can live with most teams in this league, which is it's a good sign going forwards. But we just need to maybe turn them performances into points, and we're very capable of it. So I've got every confidence we will.
yeah. Looking at the last two home games, it was a strange one. The MK Dons one, we could have gone in 5-0 down, but if Adam Lewis had put his shot somewhere else, we could have gone in at 2-all. But it wasn't but the Chesterfield first half. I thought actually we were probably the better side.
Yeah, there was large spells in the half where they struggled to get over our halfway line. I think we isolated Paddy Madden quite a lot in the first half, and he was a bit frustrated walking in. Um, they've obviously got a lot of quality, so you're always nervous about when they get higher up the pitch and what they can produce. And I think that was the case in the end. It was just a bit too the quality probably came out on top, but we know we can do more to prevent those things happening.
And the gaffer did actually allude to the fact that it's the first time I've heard him mention it, but on his post match, he said we've actually we need to learn to be better at taking our chances, and that's the first time I've heard him say that because obviously we're in just about every game at home we've created plenty of chances, but that's been our struggling point in the fact that we've probably not done ourselves justice in front of goal.
Yeah, I think it's not even just the actual chances. It's maybe the actions before potential chances. We're getting in really good positions. We're getting high up the pitch, gaining good territory, and maybe just the final pass or the final. Maybe we've created a 2v1 and we go one side rather than where we've got the overload. So I think it's just a bit of final detail, but before you even get the chance, because I don't think we've missed too many. Obviously, there's a few occasions, but we haven't missed too many absolute glares. Do you know what I mean? But I think that there's a lot more opportunities to create shooting opportunities, which we've been working on, and we've got the quality to do it. So I'm sure more goals will come, and we'll be more clinical in those areas.
And Joel, yeah, you've got any thoughts on the Chesterfield game? I mean, obviously you probably were not too far of the mark for 70 minutes, but the quality of their subs sort of like it did change the game, didn't it?
Yeah, actually, just to quickly tie into a point that Tom's just made with a few numbers I was just looking at while he was saying it. I agree. I think a lot of our issue isn't necessarily the chances themselves. It's once we have that good, we're in that good position on the pitch. It's just making that last final decision or just having the finesse and care maybe just to make go from being in a good position to actually creating a shot. And I had a quick look, and for touches in the opposition's penalty area, we're 11th in the league, but for shots on target per game, we're 22nd. So it kind of shows you that we're getting into these areas, but we're just failing to capitalize and turn those moments into shots, which I think is the frustrating thing. I think Chesterfield, we saw a lot of that as well, really. I thought overall about 60 to 70% of that game, I thought we were the better team. I thought they were lucky with their first goal. It's the first time they really got forward, and it leaps up. And as seems to be happening with a lot of things this season, instead of just flying harmlessly into Seymour's arms, it leaps up over him. And if it had been at the back end of a 10-minute spell of pressure from Chesterfield where we'd have to withstand 5 or 6 shots, then I go, yeah, fair enough. We were playing the averages against ourselves, but it's their first attack, first shot of the game, and they didn't have another shot that half. So yeah, really frustrating, but it was really pleasing how we got back into things quickly. Really great delivery from Adam Lewis and a good header from Ben Tollett. And yeah, I felt for a lot of the game until around 70-minute mark, we were on top, and it's just really frustrating to put out that level of performance, but not always just quite fashion it into those chances that are going to allow us to get goals. And obviously, we get towards the 70-minute mark. I think that they were losing their heads after we got our second goal. I think it's worth saying as well. They were getting stupid yellow cards. They were bitty little fouls. They were shouting back at the ref, getting quite annoyed, waving their arms about. And then they managed to get that third goal again, a moment of real individual quality. And from then on, I thought we were kind of chasing it a bit. We've made a bit of a change. We've gone a bit risky by putting Lewis into midfield and Guion out wide, and bringing Guion on. But I think maybe that's cost us a little bit for the fourth and fifth goals. Maybe it's left us a little bit light in the centre of the field. But yeah, at the end of the day, you do what you do to try and chase the game, and that's the risk you take sometimes. So yeah, I think the scoreline massively flattered them in the end. And I think, to be honest, we deserved at least a point out of that game.
Yeah, I think there was I think I take your point there in the fact that at 2 apiece we got back into it, and I know Callum Jones had a really good shot which the keeper saved low to his left, and we had a couple of other really decent crosses into the box which we didn't quite get on the end of, but got a couple of corners. And you were thinking we're in the ascendancy. We're in the ascendancy there. And at that point, Tom, you must be thinking we can win this.
Yeah, definitely. I know how good our fitness levels are, and we, like you see, like their bench, like you mentioned, but we had quality on the bench as well. Guion coming back is going to be a big boost for us.
Yeah.
And other lads on the bench as well who we know can come into the team and help. But like I said, I did feel we had the momentum in the game. Their third goal's avoidable, but again, it's a bit of quality. But yeah, like you say, you felt on the pitch that they were starting to get frustrated because we weren't going away. We were pressing them high still. I know a few of their lads. I spoke to their lads after the game, and they were surprised. We're like, "Oh, we've played many a team worse than you this season." That type of thing, like the league table doesn't reflect how well you have played there. So I think it's always a bit of a backhanded compliment to receive stuff like that, because you kind of you'd rather have the points over the performances, but there are good signs that we're heading in the right direction, which I understand is hard for people to say at the minute. But the performance, apart from maybe MK, we haven't really been completely outplayed, or Wimbledon. We haven't been completely outplayed this season. We've played a lot of the teams that are up there.
You must, the squad as a whole, you must be starting to sick of hearing that, though, because Notts County said the same thing when we drew 1 apiece with them. In the fact that, like, we weren't expecting you to be that good, and you probably, they were confessing that Jamie Stock's goal was over the line, and et cetera, et cetera. And like you say, you just get fed up with it and think, well, I don't care. I'd rather play crap and win 1-0, surely.
Yeah, exactly. So we need to be careful with how it's easy as well for the opposition when they've won. They pay you compliments. You see it in the Premier League all the time. Pep Guardiola beat Southampton 1-0 on Saturday, but if it was 1-1, he'd probably be raging in his press conference and saying other things. So it's obviously you need to tread carefully when you get confidence from the opposition, but it's not just that. I feel it myself when I'm on. I know I haven't played as many games as others, but I definitely felt on Saturday we were at points we were going on to win the game. I strongly believe that.
And yet again, you've gone in this week, obviously preparing for the tough away game at National League South Worthing. What's the feeling in the squad? Are we? It's a plastic pitch, obviously. Have you done any special training for that?
We've trained on a plastic pitch all week in preparation. The bounce of the ball, the speed and the way you pass the ball, it does differ. We done it last year. We played Maidstone away last year, so we kind of had a similar transition in that week. But it does take a bit of getting used to. But the lads have adapted to it well. Training's been good. Everyone's still positive. So we're going down there with a good mindset and hopefully winning the game.
I hope we do better than Barrow did at Maidstone, by the way.
Honestly, I don't know why I've brought that up, because that was one of the worst days I've had in football last year. It was just typical as well. Like the lads shot from 30 yards is through in the top corner, and you kind of think that's just meant to be. It's the FA Cup, do you know what I mean? So hopefully we can avoid any FA Cup magic like that this weekend.
Yeah, it'd be lovely. If you were to smash one in the top corner, I wouldn't complain, mate.
To be fair, the first round last year, I scored my first goal in 4 years, so I took a deflection and went in the bottom corner, but I'll take one of them as well.
Speaking of deflections, I heard you say that the first two goals both deflected off you, because Mark and Dave's first effort careered off into the top corner against Chesterfield, and that came off you. And then did you say you got a touch on the free kick as well? Yeah,
the free kicks hit my elbow. It's the big fella that came on for them. Is it Grimes, the centre back?
Yeah.
I went to charge and he's kind of like knocked me off my feet, so I've just tried to make myself as big as I can, and it's like glanced off my elbow and went into the corner. So again, it's just another one of those things that goes against you when you're at the bottom of the league.
Well, yeah, true enough. But you could look on the positive side and say it was 2 assists.
Yeah, not 2 that I want though.
No, true enough. So looking at the Worthing game, have we got any a fuller squad? Have we got anybody else back from injury? Because obviously I know Jordan Slew, etc. Lee Angle's probably the one who's going to be out the longest, and obviously George Ray's nowhere near. But anybody else coming back?
Well, I believe there's the nine players you can have on the bench in the FA Cup. So yeah. I imagine we're taking a larger squad down. A few lads have been back in training this week, but I don't know where they are in terms of fitness levels and ready to play. But we've pretty much had a full squad bar Lee Angle, like you've said. So I think everyone's in contention really.
And looking at this one, Joel, I remember I was at a former Players Association meeting when they were doing the draw, and we had the draw on in the background. And as soon as it came out Worthing, there was 9 of us sat there going, no, 31. And we just went, oh, God, no. Because obviously, 600-mile round trip, plastic pitch, they've absolutely nothing to lose. They're doing pretty well in the league. They'll be thinking, oh, yeah, this is a potential banana skin. But you've got to cope with it in the FA Cup. But somebody worked out we haven't had a home draw in this or the Carabao Cup for 10 different draws. So it's not auguring well, is it?
Yeah, I think I looked at the probability of that happening. It's something like 0.3% chance of that actually ever happening. And it's managed to happen to us. So that's nice. But it was frustrating. And I was frustrated at the amount of tweets that were saying, please give us a home draw or something nearby, because I feel like they've kind of jinxed us. I feel like we've kind of we've been cursed by it. Maybe it's playing Chelsea and Tottenham but in 2 seasons in a row. Maybe that's kind of we used up all our good luck, and now we've got to endure about a decade of crap away draws. But look, I mean, the FA Cup's always going to be exciting, but it is tricky going that far down south. But I think, like you say, it's a team in Worthing. I think they're doing all right in the league this season. it's a bit funny on a plastic pitch, but I know it's kind of like technically smoother as a bounce, but the way it kind of bounces is like it's like harder, isn't it? And that's a bit tricky, especially when playing on grass when it bounces a bit softer. So yeah, it's gonna be a tricky one, but like we said, the performances we've been putting in, barring maybe like Wimbledon recently, they've generally been pretty good. So we just need to make sure we maintain those standards, and hopefully we will be able to come out on top with the result.
And it's winner takes all, Tom. No replays this time, which puts a little bit of added pressure, probably on the bigger teams, because obviously the little teams will just think, well, we can't even play for a replay. We might as well go for it.
Yeah, I think obviously you kind of have a not a safety net with a replay, but you kind of think, well, you go down there. If you don't win, at least you get them back at your place, and you can take them on in front of our fans. So it's going to be settled on the day. I think that should just, if possible, raise motivation even more. Just get the job done, get down there, get the win, and get home really, and hopefully it's a smooth afternoon.
Yeah, and hopefully you're the one who smashes it in from 30 yards in the top corner. Not that I'm, no pressure.
No.
So let's talk about you, Tom. Obviously, you had a pretty successful season at Barrow last season. The team, well, I say you had a successful season. You sadly fell away just slightly at the end, which was a surprise to everybody because you'd had such a positive season. But obviously, big change in behind the scenes with Pete Wild going, which came as a surprise to most people and a lot of Barrovians. And obviously, that changed the squad. But obviously, George Ray and yourself got picked up by ourselves. How did that happen? How were you was it were you one of Pete Wild's love children, or what was it? How did it come about?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't towards the end of last season. No, I think I had a good start of the season. And the team were doing really well at the start. I think we were top on Boxing Day at one point. When we were beating Stockport, and I'd played my fair share of games up until about January. And then, obviously, the manager makes his own decisions. He's got his own reasons. But I didn't really feature in the second half of last season, which was frustrating because the team weren't winning the team weren't winning as much as what we were in the first half of the season. So it was a bit frustrating 3 or 4 months for me towards the end of last year when we just missed out on the playoffs. But I think when you spend a lot of time at a club that I obviously enjoyed my time there, it was just probably time for me to move on to look for a different challenge, put myself in a new environment with new players and new staff, new fans to impress, hopefully. So it's a decision that I do, regardless of where we are in the league. I'm fully happy with the decision I made. I'm loving my time here. The club's really take me by surprise in terms of the stuff behind the scenes, the facilities, the stadium, and then the stuff that everyone says, like the fans. That everything's taken me by surprise. It's been such a good first few months for me at the club, and I'm really enjoying it.
Obviously, it's been quite frustrating because you've been out injured for quite a while, but obviously we're glad you're back now. But obviously, it's been quite frustrating because I know you've been on the bench a bit as well. But slowly but surely, you feel like you're showing what you can do.
Yeah, it's been frustrating. I think you obviously get pre-season to kind of impress and show the manager what you're about. But I didn't feature in pre-season much as I would have wanted. I think I only played the first 2 games. I didn't really feature in the games. Obviously, you play your lesser teams like Longridge and Workington, which are a bit more false. I think the games where like your Burtons and Blackburns, where you can really go in, get after them, show people what you're about. That there's more of a crowd there. I only got 10 to 15 minutes here and there, so I found it frustrating. But I've just tried to keep my head down. I believe in my own abilities. I think the manager's big on trust. I think he has to trust you to play, and I think I'm slowly but surely earning that trust. And I think my performances will get better and better the more I play, and the more of a routine I get in. I think that's a big thing for me is consistency of minutes, which I haven't really had in the last 6 months. So the more I play, I think the stronger I'll be, and the more all round of a player I'll be.
What do you obviously we've seen you as operate sort of mainly in the middle. Do you? I mean, and I'm stealing Joel's question from last week. That I consider you probably when I've seen you play a pretty decent passer of the ball, and you do like to get about the pitch a lot. So I suppose you're a sort of combative box to box number 6. What do you say?
Yeah, I'd say the same. I think I've been the last few clubs I've had. I've kind of been pigeonholed into a more of a defensive player, more of a sit in the middle, get about, in tackle and break up player. But I think when I've played my best football, I've been more of a box to box. I wouldn't say a free role, because everyone's got their jobs and responsibilities. But I really enjoyed the game Saturday, because I felt the manager gave me a bit more license to press and run and get after people, which I base my game on a lot. And then I always back myself when I've got the ball to use it well and pick a pass. And yeah, that I really enjoyed the aggression that he allowed us to play with on Saturday. So I think that'll bring the best out of me as well.
And to be fair as well, with picking a pass,
there's a trick or treater, I think.
Get rid of them curly whirlies.
Yeah, I think my girlfriend will have to go and get that. And it's just sorting it. Sorry, go on.
No worries. Well, I'm just going to say doing stuff on the ball, that the pass for Adam Lewis before the our second equaliser on Saturday. That I think that was quite a nice example, because I think when you've come to us, I think the way that you've been advertised by fans and people of other clubs and stuff is that you're more of the destroyery type. But it was nice to see you able to kind of express that bit of your game. And I think there was another lovely pass against Barrow, the kind of one where you kind of almost like the one over the top of Dackers as well. So it's nice to kind of see you do that and have that in the game.
Yeah, to be fair, I think it does come from confidence when you feel comfortable in a team, and you have to bring what you can bring to the team. I think last 3 years I was put in the team to do a certain job, and although I always take on what the manager says, and maybe too literally at times, I think in the last few years I've kind of gone away from what got me success earlier on in my career. I think the first few years in my career, I went out on the pitch with a lot of freedom, a lot of wanting to express and show people how good I am. I think maybe I lost my way a bit towards when I was just after COVID. Maybe trying a bit too hard to please managers, rather than just going on the pitch and showing that I'm a good footballer, and I can get on the ball and pass it and really express myself. But I've definitely felt I'm in that kind of headspace this season of wanting to get on the ball and create and get the team playing.
So do you think actually kind of what you said there about, obviously a few years ago you maybe felt more at ease to express yourself, but obviously now then you went through a period when you maybe were trying to please managers more. But do you think it was making that, because obviously when you've made the jump to Blackburn a few years ago, you've gone straight from non-league to the Championship, and do you think maybe part of that was kind of going from non-league, where you probably one of the standout players in your team, to a Championship side that's got quite famous, some quite famous players, and maybe feeling that you need to try and impress the manager more there?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's I was actually talking to Jamie about it today. I think it's kind of like a bit of a imposter syndrome of you probably a big fish in a small pond at Gateshead, which like another brilliant club that I've played for. But I kind of believed that I was at the time the best player in that team, not in an arrogant way, just in a self belief. So I can go out there and express myself, and then next thing you know, I'm passing the ball 5 yards to Stuart Downing because he's better than me on the football. Do you know what I mean? It's like in training, and like there's players in that team who have probably racked up 300-400 appearances in the Premier League. I remember my first session at my first game at Blackburn was a behind like closed doors friendly against Macclesfield. I came on after 10 minutes. Somehow I got injured. I'd only been at the Blackburn for 10 days. and I was playing alongside Charlie Adam, who was on trial at the time, and Jacob Butterfield, with two household names in the AFL, Premier League appearances, Championship appearances, and I dropped deep to get the ball, and I kind of got a rollicking off Tony Mowbray saying, "You've got Charlie Adam in your midfield. Why are you trying to do what Charlie Adam's good at?" So like little things like that probably accumulated over the 2 or 3 years after, and I just kind of found myself like not losing confidence, but just trying to do the simple things well rather than going back to that I'm the best player in this team kind of mindset and getting on the ball and trying to make things happen.
That's really interesting. That. So just coming from non-league as well, is that? Do you think that gave you a kind of different, or does that can it give you a different kind of edge to your game and when you're coming from non-league compared to people coming up from the academy?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, I did do my YT. I done my YT at Carlisle, but got released at 17, and then I kind of not lost my way, but I went to Gateshead and I done my ACL at 18, and I hadn't made a senior appearance by then, and it's the best thing that's ever happened to me because, like you say, it gave me that edge. It gave me that like if I don't put my ideas up, I'll not have a career. So I've came from literally on whatever like petrol money to get in, with no ACL to where I am now playing in the Football League. But I definitely owe a lot to that background of maybe having the shock of not potentially having a career at all.
I think as well. I think recovering from an ACL, I think it's one that can potentially really hamper your mobility even when you get the operation, you do the recovery. So, I mean, seeing what you like as a midfielder, was it quite a lot of hard work, I'm guessing, to try and get back to the point where you feel like you can pivot, you can change direction at speed in the same way like you used to be able to.
Yeah, it's challenging. You think like 6 weeks after operation, you think I'm never running again. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't get up off the sofa out of bed by yourself, and you think how am I going to get from this stage I'm in now to back playing football? What I think it's just you have good people around you who support you and help you, and you speak to people who've been through the process themselves. But it was the best thing that's ever happened to me because it taught me how hard you have to work to be a footballer at any level. Never mind the Football League. At that point, my dream was to play in the National League because I'd never played in the National League before. Or I think I'd played no, I hadn't played in the National League at that time, and that was my dream. I was going out on runs. I was doing about 8-9K a day, running 6 times a week, and like I'm running up hills, and I'm like my dream, like the motivation for me to get to the top of the hill is thinking I'll be playing in the National League if I do stuff like this. So for me to then go on and play over 100 games in the Football League and to be in the position I am now, it's like I never ever take it for granted.
No, yeah, that's really really interesting to hear that. But and kind of going over your club spells as well. You've had quite when you were at Gateshead, ended up having quite a lot of loan spells to various other non-league clubs, kind of building to that point. So were they kind of quite good little stepping stones as well to get you to the point where you were playing in the National League?
Yeah, every single loan that I had was kind of a step up to try and get to where I was wanting to get. I think I had a couple of local teams which you've probably never heard of, like West Auckland, Ashington, who were like local northeast clubs. Then I went back and trained. Wasn't quite ready, so then I went out again. I think I had a spell at Spennymoor just after I'd done my ACL, and then my main one was Scarborough. We got promoted. I think I played about 20 games towards the end of that promotion campaign, and it was that's a dog crying.
He wants a curly whirly.
2 seconds, I'm gonna have to put her out. She was asleep before. Come here.
This is the joys of recording live, ladies and gentlemen, in the fact that we don't allow dead air, but we do allow Tom to let his dog out, which is fantastic.
We do have a history of allowing for canines
interruption
on the podcast.
True.
So people
should be no pets allowed this.
No. We do allow pets. We love pets. You're all right.
Yeah, I was just saying my loan at Scarborough was massive. Like I owe everyone there such a thank you. Playing in front of I hadn't played in front of a big crowd by like that point, and I was about 18, 19. Went on loan there and played 20 games towards the end of the season. We got promoted. It's like people setting flares off in pubs in Scarborough, and like the experience was unbelievable. And they were selling out towards the end of the season. But yeah, it was unbelievable club. A lot of good people and great memories.
And kind of the National League experience is ultimately kind of culminated, I guess, with England, with a couple of England Sea Cats. So I just wonder what it's like going on the camp with those.
Yeah, it was a crazy experience. Yeah, we went. My first one was we played at Salford's ground, and I think I came on early as well. Just how things happened, I came on early and played really well. It's good exposure for potentially getting a club in the AFL to come and sign you. But the second experience was I'd been on a holiday with my mates in Benidorm. I had to fly back early from Benidorm to get to Luton Airport, to then fly out to Estonia and play in about 33 degree heat. The lads were coming off a cramp after like 20 minutes, but just the experience of being in the airport with England tracksuit on, and it was unbelievable.
I gather when you were on a sightseeing and walking holiday in Benidorm with your mates then.
Yeah, hill running, no, just water and salads,
yeah,
nothing else.
Yeah. We've all been there and done that. It's what you do in Benidorm. Yeah. Did you come off with cramp or did you collapse?
No, I played the full game. And we conceded. I think it was 0-0. But I haven't watched the game back. It was probably the worst game you've ever seen. It was 0-0 going into the 90th minute, and they scored 2 goals in the last 2 minutes, and ended up getting beat 2-0. But yeah, the experience was unbelievable.
That wouldn't happen now. That wouldn't happen now to you, Tom. Not after Derek's pre-season, according to Jamie Stott.
Nah, definitely not.
When Jamie came on, Jamie said, I hope I never have to do that pre-season ever again. And I went, what if you get another contract? And he went, oh, I didn't think of that.
I'm telling you now, you'll be doing it next year as well.
So how did you find it? Do you keep yourself fit over the summer?
Yeah, I like to keep myself fit. I probably come in. I think that there's a fine balance between rest and keeping yourself fit. I think because I didn't play towards the end of last year, the year before I basically played every game. I played about 45 games, so I felt my body like needed a rest at the end. Whereas I was kind of like I was training, but I wasn't playing, so it was tough for me to still like to switch off. I just wanted to get back in and play football again. So I came in this year quite fit, but the running's so hard. Like the track runs that you do in the morning, and you're out in the afternoon, but it's good. George Ray got away with it because he signed a bit later, so he missed it. So I hope he has to do it next year as well. That'll be a laugh.
It's funny, really, because Jamie was first on of all the new signings this season, and it seems to be a recurring theme with everybody who's had Derek's pre-season for the first time. As soon as we mentioned it, you get a look of fear in their eyes, like, oh God, yeah.
I think you enjoy it in a weird way. Well, I do. I think some lads probably hate it, but it's a nice feeling once you've completed it, knowing like I'm fit here, like I can really attack the season. And there's nothing worse as a footballer than running around the pitch feeling like you're a half a yard off here and there. But that was one of the main things I was frustrated about was getting injured. Is I had 7 weeks then of I kind of worked hard to get to probably optimum fitness, and then you have 7 weeks of being told you can't run. So it was tough to deal with, but I try to keep myself fit during the injury on the bike and stuff like that. But yeah, the pre-seasons they're tough, really tough.
We're sniggering because we don't have to do them. So, but everybody says the same thing. So obviously you doing your YTS at Carlisle, but also I will correct me if I'm wrong, but the correct perceived pronunciation in the northeast is Gatshead. Is that right?
I've never heard that. But you've got the second part right. It's normally like Gateshead.
Gatshead. Right.
Or
Well,
the heat.
I've got a member of the family, and he does say Gatshead,
Does it?
but he's not a proper Geordie. He's from Bishop Auckland, so there you go. But yeah, I think. Am I right in saying you're a massive Toon fan?
Yeah, I had the season tickets from like, I think I must have been about 9 or 10 till I had to go into full-time football. But Dad's still got a season ticket now. He's had one for 45, maybe 40, 46 years. I think he's had one. So
Wow.
yeah, but my mum's from Sunderland, so
Oh, nice.
he gets kicked out of the house sometimes.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, that's quite an interesting. That's probably worse than Everton and Liverpool at the same house, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just, to be fair, she's not a big football fan, but her side of the family, I've got cousins and uncles who are all big Mackham fans. So if they get back in the Premier League, it'll be interesting.
So do you still, when you get the chance, do you still go up and see your dad and go to watch?
Yeah, my mum and dad come down quite a bit. My dad's football crazy, so he comes to all the games when I'm playing. He's at the Barrow game the other week, and he watched the Chesterfield one on telly. But yeah, the last time I haven't been to St James's Park in years now, but we played. I think the last one I went to was Tranmere away last year.
All right. Oh yeah.
Carabao Cup. And I went to the cup final a few years ago as well, but that didn't end up too great either.
No, it seems to be the way with the Toon at the moment, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They got to a couple of finals with Shearer and cocked it up, didn't they?
Yeah.
But there you go. Well, for me sins, obviously I'm a big Morecambe fan, but it's been a strange week for Newcastle because obviously my other team is the one you beat in the Carabao Cup last night, but the one you lost to in the Premier League on Sunday. So don't ask how that happened, but there you go. But from your point of view, what are your hopes for the rest of the season? Obviously, the squad feeling is still pretty positive with training, etc. Is it?
Yeah, I think that there's a big belief in the team that we're going to turn it around. Personally, I want to play football. I want to be in the team every week because I think I've got the capability to help the team move up the table. But yeah, there's a good feeling around the place still. I think we know what we need to do to turn it around, and we're doing everything we can. We're training hard every day. There's hardly been any days off, and we're fine with that because we know how hard we need to work to be successful this season.
And looking at it in plain terms, a cup run would certainly take your mind off the league, take the pressure off a bit, and also get you a couple of wins and help, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think winning breeds confidence. I think the more games you win, the more belief you get from that. There's no better way to breed confidence, really. It's a good opportunity for us to go down and win. We know how tough it's going to be. But if we win that, then we go into Harrogate with a win under our belt, and then things are starting to look a bit more rosy. I think that the one disappointing thing is the performance we had after the Barrow win, because that was a real chance for us to go and kick on and put in a real good performance again against MK, and we didn't quite reach the levels we need to. Granted, they're a good team, but I think we could have really used the momentum from the Barrow game to push on.
Just to touch on it, obviously you've got a big weekend coming up. Presumably, we're recording this Thursday night. Presumably, you're setting off probably tomorrow. Is that right?
Yeah, we'll train tomorrow, and then we'll. I think our meet point for the bus is about 2:00, so we should get around there about 7. Get a good night's sleep and all set for the game.
So does that side of it? A lot of footballers just say it can be quite mind numbing unless you're in a card school or you've got DVDs to watch. The sort of like travelling side of it.
It's not ideal. It's part and parcel of the job. I think we're all understand how privileged we are to be in the position we're in. If that means sitting on the bus for 4 or 5 hours, then so be it. Get 3 hours into the journey and you ask me a question, I'll probably say, yeah, this is a pain in the backside. But I think we all understand that we're going down there to do a job and to represent the football club, represent the fans, the town. So you'll not catch me complaining about this and that. I think we're all in the position of real. There's a lot of people out there that would want to sit on that bus. Do you know what I mean? So we need to understand that, and yeah, I'll be fine as long as I'm not sat next to Jamie Stott. I'll be fine.
You sit next to him in the car every day. You haven't got much choice, have you?
No. Well, he keeps getting us stuck in traffic on the way into training. Keeps finding traffic somehow. I don't know how he finds it.
So, Joel, have you got anything we wrap up with from the trust?
Yeah, I guess the main kind of thing really is obviously we had a meeting last night where we kind of discussed the whole ownership thing. We met with the board as well to discuss a few things. So it has obviously been put forward that we're looking at doing a kind of peaceful protest before the game against Port Vale in a couple of weeks' time on the 16th of November. So there'll be a kind of like a fans meet, a members meeting, sorry, next Friday, the 8th of November. So any members can come to that. That'll be at Morecambe Cricket Club. That'll basically be to discuss what we might do for this protest and obviously what might happen next and what we can try and do to get the sale over the line. Because as we all know, it's very frustrating. We would like it to be completed as soon as possible so we can stop banging on about it and focus on what's going on the pitch and Tom White playing very nice crossfield passes to Adam Lewis.
That's a dream.
Yeah, it's funny. Obviously, we got somebody at the door, so I had to go just before you got the dog sorted out. But the one thing I was going to say was that's the first thing that strikes me, which I was going to say. It always strikes me you always do the first thing you do when you win the ball. You always try and look forward, don't you, Tom?
Yeah, I've not always been credited with that. Really, I think, like you said, depending on where it depends a lot on the options you have at the time. I think that's one thing the manager's tried to drill into me since I've been there is he wants me to win the ball back and go forward as much as I can. That helps when you've got runners forward, options forward, people who want the ball ahead of you. But like I said, in the few games I've started, I feel I've done that well. It's something that I'm working on, and hopefully I can bring more of the same.
Well, long may it continue. Thanks very much for doing this tonight. Obviously, do exactly what Jamie did. Tell everybody that no, you don't want to come on here. They're horrible, and the gaffer will be sneaking in the background, etc., etc. But good luck with the travel. Good luck on Saturday. Fingers crossed. We'd love to have you back on sometime in the new year when we're hopefully in a bit better position and you have actually smashed one into the top corner from 30 yards.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure. Yeah, anytime you want me on, give me a shout, and more than happy to join us again.
Yeah, thank you very much. And Joel, everything you said there about the Shrimps Trust, the one thing I want to ask you is, is it a splinter group of Shrimps Trust people that put that thing out this week, or is it separate people? I didn't really know what happened there.
Is that the Shrimps protest group that you referred to?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
No, that's not. That's not some. I've no idea who it is, to be honest. So yeah, no, it's not. It's not somebody who's officially affiliated with us or anything, as far as I'm aware.
I just wondered, and nothing against him. I get where they were coming from, but I just thought it was quite interesting, and it is worth saying again that obviously this time last week it was on Northwest Tonight that Tranmere were possibly selling to some rap guy and some other American investor. And they interviewed Mark Palios, and he said, I can't say anything because it's with the EFL, and that's the EFL embargo. You're not allowed to say anything. And he said that in the interview. And that's what I get. A lot of people don't get that, in the fact that even if there is progress, the board can't say anything, as we found out. And yes, Jason doesn't say anything, But the EFL won't say much either because it's their own rules saying we won't say anything till it's completed. So I just think it's worth sort of like firing that up, that I understand why people are frustrated, and that splinter group has said, oh, we need answers. But while the sale goes, if it is going through, which we're told it is, and EFL are saying they've had the paperwork, that's all we can be told. So it's a bit of a strange situation, really. But as it is, it's an off-field thing. We'll go to Worthing on Saturday and hopefully come away with the right result. And to be honest, the last word from Tom, I'm not really, on a plastic pitch. I'm not bothered about the performance. I just want to win.
Yeah, I think you're bang on. I think the supporters deserve a win. I think they've been excellent this year, and I'm not just saying that as a token gesture. I genuinely believe that I've been pleasantly surprised with how much we've been backed in the understanding of the position we're in and why we're in it. But I think they can appreciate that everyone's working hard in the same direction. So I think the supporters are due a win, and I think we'll be doing everything we can to try and make Saturday a memorable day for the fans.
Well, I sincerely hope so. Thank you very much for listening, everybody, or watching on YouTube. We'll be back next week. We might have Tanya on from the Shrimp Sus next week. I think that's right, Joel, isn't it?
Yes.
And hopefully we'll have a tame board member on as well. Thanks to Tom. Thanks to Joel. This has been ShrimpNet. Hope you've enjoyed it. Join us next week.